All right, welcome everybody to tonight's Committee of the Whole meeting. It's Tuesday, December 2nd at 6:30 p.m. Can I get a roll call?
Finkler.
Here.
Hammer.
Here.
Lawson.
Here.
Meyer is excused. Reed.
Here.
Relke.
Here.
Rosted.
Here.
This meeting was posted and noticed according to law.
All right, I will entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We got a first by Alder Rolke and a second by Alder Rosted. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are approved. Any public comment? All right, on to new business. First one is discussion of Columbus snow and ice emergency control policy. Are you going to start, Matt, or?
I gladly can, and Dwayne can answer
Yeah.
any questions about the policy. The police department and public works have worked through, I think in terms of substantial changes, I don't think there are significant. One thing that we kind of caught is that there was a discrepancy between our ordinance and the snow policy in terms of the inches of snow to declare an emergency. The ordinance says 3, so we've amended the policy to be 3 inches, and I think that makes more sense than 2. I don't know that we need to declare a snow emergency for 2 inches of snow. We're also making effort to have conversations during an event or in the lead up to an event about the public notices going out and making sure that we've got a plan for when enforcement of ticketing, letting people know, so that we're trying to clearly communicate on each event rather than every event being treated the same.
Alder Rosted.
So this past snowstorm, Facebook alerted residents on Friday, the 28th, that there'd be an snow emergency going into effect at 10 a.m. on the 29th. The first plow truck came by my residence on video footage on the 30th at 5:48 a.m. So I have an issue, and I know other residents do as well. They couldn't park on the street all day Saturday, but the first plow truck never came through the residential area until 10 to 6. We need to figure out a way to adjust this.
All right, so I'll answer that question with a number of things. A lot of cities do alternate side parking. A lot of cities completely restrict any parking on street from November, pick a date in November until the end of snow season. We allow people to park with the exception of a snow emergency. We don't have alternate side parking. The challenge becomes how you differentiate arterials and mains from residential streets. Because if we put out a release saying no parking on Saturday for this event on arteries and mains, does any resident know whether they live on an artery or main? And doesn't it add to the confusion that we need to be able to clear snow on those streets and through the downtown. And yes, we're not going to go into residential neighborhoods until a later time, but how do you differentiate that in terms of a policy and communication to the public?
What makes the downtown more important than a residential area? Would be my follow-up question.
Business access?
But the main reason for a snow emergency is to what? Plow around no vehicles. And we allow them to park downtown from 4 corners to 4 corners, but we can't park in residential.
Can I just respond to that?
Can you come up here with the microphone, please?
Or there. I don't think you need a microphone.
It's for the people on TV. It's not for us.
A snow emergency has a little to do with plowing, but a lot to do with residential safety. We're declaring a snow emergency to keep people off the street, notify them that there's a snow emergency and it's going to be nasty. That's when a snow emergency goes into effect. If we throw out a snow emergency and then get all the plows or the streets plowed, and people want to drive out there, that's creating a safety issue. So we don't drop plow until we get like 1.5 inches, 2 inches of snow on the ground. And if it's going to continue to snow like this previous snowstorm did, there's no reason for us to drop plow at 2 inches, because as soon as we get done and down the street, we'd have to turn right around and go back and do it again. So that's I guess my answer to a real snow emergency is safety issue.
I guess we can agree to disagree. I'd like some clarification on number 15, the fire hydrants, and where it is stated in a policy or ordinance that it's the responsibility of the adjacent property owner to clear it out before we put it into a policy.
Ryan, I guess I hear concerns on, issue with how we're doing things, but I don't hear suggestions on how to address them.
I'm looking for clarification on fire hydrant though, for now.
And I think me and everyone in the room is asking I'm not sure what the question is.
If there's no ordinance, how can we put it in the policy that it's the responsibility of the adjacent property owner to clear it?
Or is there an ordinance and it just wasn't cited?
We can't make someone do something if it's not a law or on the book.
I mean, I guess we need to do some investigation of whether it's in an ordinance, but I understand that it's also best practice, and that if I follow 30 cities on Facebook, all of them around this time of year are putting out messaging for adjacent property owners to clear access around fire hydrants, so that if there is a fire, that the fire department can access the hydrant. It's a best practice.
I understand it's a practice, but if it's not an ordinance or a requirement that we can enforce, it doesn't belong in a policy. Because you're correct, Facebook does get the message out, but it doesn't say the adjacent on the Facebook post. They're asking if you have a hydrant in your neighborhood, would you clear it? It's just an article. It's not an ordinance.
I would have to agree with Matt that it's best practice. I know it used to be. I don't know if it still is. I mean, something easy to check out. But for your homeowner's insurance, if you had a fire hydrant on your property, you got a discount. So you have a responsibility to your neighbor and to yourself to keep the hydrant clear.
I just quickly searched and I didn't see anything in ordinances that said that there was a requirement.
Is somebody getting cited for this? Is that a concern?
Not that I know of, but
I've been cited.
there we go.
Yes, when I first moved here,
What was
which was fine.
Do you know what the statute was by remember off the top of your head? No.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my goodness. That was over a decade ago. No, I don't recall, but yes, it was up to the property owner whose home was, behind the hydrant. And my hydrant location is a little tricky. It's almost right on the property line between me and my neighbor, but turns out it was mine.
Chief is shaking his head. I don't know if you have any thoughts.
I've been here 21 years and I've never heard of that. that's not even built into our system, to my knowledge, so. I will do some backdigging tomorrow in previous records management systems and see, but
Okay.
that's a new one on me, I'm not
I-
just agreeing with you.
I
I'm saying
think-
very-
I think at least it's something to look into.
I guess the question I
Ordinance.
have for the council is, there are a lot of rules, things in policies that we don't have in ordinance. And the question is, do you want people ticketed for not clearing the hydrants? Or is this a best practice that you want us to message the public on? And I don't have a preference either way, but I think that's, I guess, my first question for the council is, do you want to see an ordinance that requires residents to clear hydrants and be ticketed if they're not clearing them?
I think it's a safety thing, right? If the hydrants aren't cleared in the event of a fire, so wouldn't we want to have it in an ordinance requiring property owners to do that?
I don't have a problem with that. But I don't know to what extent, and Ryan, you may have better data in terms of how often this is an issue. Are people not clearing? Is it a problem that exists that are we creating a solution to a problem that doesn't exist, or is this a problem that needs to be addressed?
I guess I can't answer fully. There is times where when I was on, we had issues, but it's the nature of the beast. I can give you an example of the city of Waterloo. They are utilities hydrants, and the superintendent down there says they're in charge of them and they will clear them out. So as of today, they're all cleaned out in Waterloo by city staff because they are owned by the utility, which I'm assuming ours are owned by the utility as well.
I think I'd want to know, like, what is, like, industry best practice, I guess. I don't know if you can answer that now, but, like, before we go into making an ordinance and everything, right?
Off the cuff, I'm not aware that that is a consistent practice in most communities. If you think about the sheer size of some cities and the number of hydrants, and the fact that, a majority of communities are asking residents, we've all seen the posts, clear your snow, some do better than others, some have videos, all that, and reasons why it's important to do. But I'm not gonna say Waterloo's the only community, but they might be one of the only few that are doing something like that. I'm curious too, is that all utility staff? Is that a water utility staff responsibility? Because I have no idea, Joe may know how many fire hydrants we have in the city, but we have two water staff.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like, yeah. Alder Lawson?
I would just, can we I don't want to say defer, can we send that to the appropriate committee to bring up the possibility of an ordinance for removing snow around fire hydrants? Let it
Is
start
that
there.
Public Spaces Committee? Isn't that what DPW falls under now? No? Why did I feel like it fell under there?
Because I wanted it to, and we didn't go that full extent.
Oh. Well, I bought into it, so.
The council would currently oversee all things public works related. I mean, the question is ultimately the public works isn't necessarily involved with fire hydrants. It's either a water utility issue or a fire department issue. And because of the multi-departmental, that might be a council issue to weigh in on.
Well, who's overseeing the ordinance review? The larger ordinance review that's happening?
The zoning ordinance?
Well, that's just the zoning.
Yeah, that wouldn't
That's
fall
just
under
zoning
this,
ordinance.
yeah.
This isn't going to fall in the zoning ordinance. Correct, Mike?
Correct. This would be a problem.
Did you have anything else, Alder Lawson, while we're stewing on this?
Yeah, there's a couple questions. So earlier in the policy, there was talk about crew availability, and there's a mention of the wastewater plant and utility employees. And I don't know if we already accounted for that in the new employee handbook with the overtime and how that would work. If not, we should take a look and make sure that this policy is taken care of in the handbook if we go with this, or if not, then make an amendment to the employee handbook. And then I've got a question on, like you were talking about, Matt, with the downtown parking. There are some apartments downtown where the only place to park is public parking. So when we declare an emergency, what are those people supposed to do?
There's a parking lot right down the street.
But they can't park in the public parking lot either.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can. That's where they're
They
supposed to
can?
park. Yeah.
I swear I
states-
thought one of the ones said you can't park in the parking lot or on the streets.
The Water Street parking that's on the east side, the big parking lot,
Yeah.
that you can. If I
That's the one
recall,
place.
it's the 5 spots that are fireman's restaurant alley behind the bakery there.
Oh, by the
There's
Magnolia.
5 city spots that are there. And if I recall, and maybe Dennis, you might remember, those 5, I think they are supposed to be clear. Nobody's supposed to be parking in there during the snow.
Correct, that's not part of the alternate side parking.
Right.
Where the other municipal lots are posted with signs
Yeah.
that say alternate side parking, and then each row is identified, like 1 and 3 are next to each other, and then 2 and 4. So
Yeah.
it's half and half.
Oh, so you can still park in the big parking lot. It's
big
just
one.
every other
Yeah.
row.
And the sign's there stated, so.
Okay. Thank you. The other comment I guess I had is in years like this where we had a kind of a late leaf fall, I think a lot of people had, out along the street leaves still that hadn't been picked up, and it may be because they missed the pickup.
Public
Yeah, no.
Works is hoping to resume relief collection as early as tomorrow.
That's great. It's difficult to pick up leaves when they're buried in snow, though.
They'll be picking up the snow as well.
Okay. So in the future, can we think of a way to try to avoid that?
Well, we had a really late drop of leaves this year,
Yeah.
combined with a Thanksgiving week major snowstorm, which I don't remember happening in my adult years. At least especially recent years, we've not had any kind of significant snowfall even prior to the holiday season, to the Christmas season. It's usually, pretty bare right up until Christmas, which has allowed for leaf collection to extend. You can hope this is an anomaly. It may not be. One of the leaf collection things that we're going to be pursuing in the next year is to look at a leaf vacuum system and get pricing on those and look at how we work that into future CIP. I think one of the main benefits that I see in looking at that is the reduced labor to, we currently run 3 to 4 people on our leaf collection, and I've seen a number of these leaf backs that operate with 1 driver, which would allow our staff to get a lot of other things done in the fall. But we have to look at cost benefit analysis, look at other alternatives, look at what other communities are doing. I know a lot. It's almost, I don't want to throw a percentage on it, but it's a significant percentage that are using the automated vacuum trucks.
Yeah, and I don't want to answer now. I'm just asking that we, consider, and if that's one of the ways that can help avoid that in the future, that's great.
Follow up, if I may, on his regarding leaves. I was in Wauwatosa on Thanksgiving Day. They still had leaves all over. Jefferson still had leaves all over. It's unfortunate, but this particular year, that's the way it worked out. And Dennis, I'm sure, remembers how many years ago where when the leaves had frozen down and they were pushing sheets of leaves because the snow came early. I think it was like an October snowfall. So, you do the best you can under the circumstances. And
Fire hydrants. So, question on this, because this seems to be the outstanding item. Does anybody have any concerns with us at least moving this policy forward with how it's written? Because I'm assuming this is how it was before. And then us, so we can get this aligned better with the snow emergency that we post, and then talking about fire hydrants at a different topic.
I'm confident we can have a draft fire hydrant ordinance at the next council, or at the next committee of the whole meeting.
Okay. So do we want to postpone this, or can we move this to council and still do that? Because if we're saying we want an ordinance, then, well, let me ask that. How many, like, Alder Reed, you go ahead and speak, because
No,
you might be
thank you.
speaking to the ordinance.
I am. I'm very comfortable passing this as is. I think the actual ordinance would really just reiterate the same information. I'm also glad that we are having the benefits of citizens being able to park normally except for when it's a snow emergency. I don't want to have super limited parking for no reason when it's going to inconvenience and trouble residents all season long. So I appreciate the way it's written overall.
Alder Rostad?
If we're gonna go put an ordinance in this policy, it's gonna come back to us anyway to amend the policy to add the ordinance under number 15. So if we approve it tonight, without the ordinance, the new ordinance number, it's gotta come back anyway to be amended, to be added in. So we're doing double work. If we approve it tonight, as is, then bring it back next month to approve it and add the agenda, or the ordinance. Either way, it's coming back. If
Alder Reed?
the
Oh, sorry.
ordinance goes through.
I'm so bad at pauses. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, no, thank you. I prefer going through tonight just to have the expectation for the current season out to the residents as fast as possible, so people know what is expected. I really don't want to put it off and to wait and have people wondering and having more to argue with in the meantime.
Alder Reed, do you want an ordinance for, what are your thoughts on having an ordinance in general?
Yes, I would like an official
Okay.
ordinance.
Alder Rolke, I'll ask you the same question when you're done saying whatever you have to say.
I was going to agree with Alder Reed that I'd like to consider this tonight so that we have a policy on the books, and I would also like, and don't have a problem with addressing the ordinance again separately as an ordinance, but as a policy, yes, I think we should move this forward tonight.
Alder Lawson?
I agree.
All right, so it sounds like the majority would like to move this forward and then bring discussion of a fire hydrant ordinance at next cow.
I just have a couple of questions,
Oh,
though.
sorry about that.
Regarding, so on page number 6, it says that Amtrak currently has 8 designated angle parking spots. Is there a need for more? I mean, are they the ones that come to us to ask for the parking spots? Or I just know with the addition of the Borealis and then especially holiday travel, it seems like that there would be more cars parked. Train is getting used an
I
awful
believe there's just
lot.
not, was it 8 or 9?
It says 8 on page 6.
Okay,
of that.
8, yeah, I know there's 8 parking spots up there. They're identified as
Okay, and this
overflow
is-
parking for the rail.
What, do you know, is that requested by Amtrak? I'm
I
sure
have
it
no
probably
idea.
is.
I'm assuming those signs have been
Okay.
up there for years.
Yeah, I mean, my question was, because with all the increased traffic of Amtrak, is 8 enough? Something to think about. The only other question I had on page 9, which gives the timeline, it's Appendix A. It says confirmed drivers have valid CDL licenses in November. Probably should, because we could have snow in November. We've had snow in October. We've had a couple of good snowstorms in October in the past. So maybe even move the confirmed drivers have valid CDLs, move that up to September. Something to think about.
All right.
And I guess that's all I had.
Okay, and if that's desired by council, since I'm assuming everybody's gonna be good moving this forward, because that's what we all had decided. If you would like that change to September, make that in your motion, when we get to council. All right, anything else on that, or we're good moving it forward? Okay. Next, discussion of the assigned take-home squad program policy. Next.
Thank you. All right, good evening. I am just going to go through kind of a short timeline of the LISO program and kind of tell you where we're at. And we're ahead of where we thought we were going to be, and you have the draft policy as part of the packet, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So in May of 2024, Lieutenant Ward came before the council with a proposal to start a take-home squad program funded by surplus government funds from equipment that they were disposing of that we wouldn't have a use for through the means of selling that. He gave a presentation with a timeline, with spreadsheets, documents, those types of things. So we dove into that pretty heavily. And in the last year and a half, we've made some substantial progress. I wrote some notes here, so I'm going to keep referencing them. So the summer of this year, we were able to start selling some of the surplus assets that we were not going to use. They had a one-year wait program on anything that we took delivery of before we could dispose of it. That has very, very recently changed, but we had a one-year wait. So the summer of this year, we started selling some of our equipment, the surplus equipment, and then we also sold some a few months later. So it kind of put us in a great position to start buying used squads, low mileage used squads, and equipping them, all with LISO funds and zero tax dollars. We have purchased 3 squads. We have one completely outfitted. We just picked up Friday maybe. And another one is up getting outfitted now. And then with the addition of the 2026 squad car we ordered and are buying as part of our annual 1 squad car per year through the capital improvement projects, we're in a great place. So we're at a point where we are looking at starting the assigned 1-to-1 squad program for the officers and take-home squads for both of the 2 lieutenants. So that's what I'm here to talk about a little bit. I do want to say that since the raise the council approved for the officers and the contract ratification, I've posted 2 processes for officers, and we've gotten record applications. I'm sure the wage had something to do with that, but I also put in the text of the ad that we're looking at a 1-to-1 and take-home squad program in the future, and also a new public safety building somewhere down the road. And I'm sure those things to any applicant looking to go somewhere are very attractive, and that's one of the things that we wanted to do. We know law enforcement is very hard to find people, very, very hard. And every department is going through the same thing, and you have to be creative and figure out things you can do to try to draw people, and most importantly, to keep people. A lot of departments, smaller departments, are training grounds for bigger departments, and I don't want to see that happen here. Because with turnover, there's a lot of added costs of testing, outfitting new people, putting people through the academy. You've got to wait 4.5 months. for them to graduate, assuming they could get into an academy timely when you have a vacancy. So this is one nugget of our recruitment and retention plan that we would like to implement. So I think I talked about all I wanted to in my notes. So the policy, as it was written and provided to the council, there weren't specific timelines on it, but I do want to provide what my plan is moving forward. Once the second lieutenant squad is completely set up and outfitted, which should be soon, the lieutenants would start with the take-home squads, and then probably somewhere down the road, perhaps a year, we would see how that worked before they would be issued to the officers as take-homes. We are going to be in a position this spring to issue squads at a 1-to-1, so they can have their individual squad and keep their personal equipment in it, which may sound trivial, but is a big deal. They lug a lot of equipment to and from each squad, each shift, and it's just nice having something that's your own. Imagine sharing a desk with 7 or 8 other coworkers. What's that desk going to look like? Mm-hmm. Where you can have a little bit of ownership, a little bit of pride in something that the city has entrusted you with. This policy that was written is I don't want to say a template, but it was framed around another department in the state that has take-home squads. We added some very unique things specifically to Columbus, mostly accountability, because that's something that this is something that will be the officers to lose. If they violate or do something or have an issue, they're going to lose it. It's something they can lose. So we wanted to make it, as pretty stringent as we could. And as you see by the length of it, it's very stringent. We covered everything from what they can do when they're going to and from work, which is basically if they come across a true emergency by statute, they have emergency powers, they can act on it. Where it's parked, what equipment's left in it, who can and can't drive it. If you're out of the office for a several-day period, like a vacation or medical leave, the squad comes back to the police department. Just all kinds of things that we have included here as safeguards. And again, with the officers, we'd be looking at approximately a year, maybe a little longer, from when we get the 2026 squad in and outfitted, which I'm guessing March, April maybe. But the 2 squads for the lieutenants are ready now and ready to go, and my plan would be to implement that very shortly. Again, we've purchased these squads, we've outfitted them, which is very expensive, with 0 tax dollars. And Lieutenant Ward has put his heart and soul into this job for the last year. Well, he's been on duty and even off duty. So he deserves a lot of praise for what he's done. And we anticipated this to be, us to be in this position in late 2026 by his timeline that he put out in last year's meeting, and we're there now. So I think that says a lot for him to manage this program, get us where we are in amongst his regular duties and being short of staff. So I would ask you to review the policy. I'm open for any questions. Again, this is a staggered approach, and we will monitor it very closely. 15 miles as a crow flies is a restriction. Right now, of the 8 staff, it would only apply to 4. That's including me, both lieutenants, and one of the officers. If an officer's on probation, they don't have a take-home car. If there's a disciplinary issue or an issue with the squad, I can take it away immediately. So there's a lot of different tiers of who and when they are available. Our 2 most recent rehires that are starting the academy in January, one lives in Waupun, one lives in Madison. I haven't had direct conversations with them. I don't anticipate them moving within the 15 miles. We have the 1 or 2 other employees that live outside the 15, and I don't know what their plans are. But I guess what I'm saying is there's not going to be 10 City of Columbus vehicles outside of the city. Well, it'll be 9 because someone would be on duty at any given time. I mean, it's not going to be everybody, but those that live outside of the 15 miles are going to have the benefit of having their one-on-one assigned squad, which will streamline a lot of start and end shift operations. So that's all I have.
I just have a quick clarifying question
Yep.
that hopefully will help me and other council members if they haven't seen this either. I have not seen another policy from the police department for us to review and approve or even edit, modify, have our say in, I should say. So is it typical that that policies for the police department come to council to be even reviewed?
I posed that exact question to Matt recently, and I think that what I see as the council's involvement in this policy is it involves city assets and potentially cost to the city for gasoline, insurance, those types of things. I don't think the council would want to be involved because we have 160 policies.
Yeah.
So I don't think you want every council meeting to see 4 or 5
Yeah.
policies. And again, this is a very unique one. This is one we take very seriously. And again, just because city assets being used and being out of the city, and there are going to be some added costs, the gasoline insurance, I think it was appropriate to bring it here, and especially after Lieutenant Ward last year gave a presentation. This is more of an update of where we're at. I wanted you guys to see and understand and agree with policy before we kick it in.
Okay. I can't tell you guys what to do on council, but I suggest we probably stick to comments and ask for edits to stay around what actually is in the purview of the council. Feel free to ask any clarifying questions you have, but I think that we just might need to be reminded on this one to stay in our lane, for a lack of better words to put it. So go ahead, Alder Rostad.
So, do we have estimated cost effect on the insurance policy change due to now they're just insured as vehicles, and now we're going to have to insure 2 vehicles and 2 drivers for your 2 lieutenants? I'm assuming you're already insured as a driver on your vehicle because you take it home. So you're going to have to change your insurance policy from vehicle only to vehicle and driver. Do we know the approximate cost that is going to be to the taxpayer?
I don't know if the insurance and the vehicles and the drivers are an issue. I mean, the city insures vehicles, but the city's insurance policy, all employees are covered while they're operating a city vehicle. I don't know if insurance, I mean, there'll be an increase because there's going to be a couple more cars that we're adding to the fleet. We asked Crystal about that last year when she was here, and we didn't get an answer, and we were told it's kind of the price of doing business.
I think Lieutenant Ward confirmed that at one point too, that it wouldn't cost any more to do it other than insuring
Yeah,
the new vehicles,
I
if I
mean,
remember correctly.
When we're up to staff, so I'll use the number 10, all 10 of us are insured by the city's insurance company regardless. And the insurance policy covers any city vehicle we're operating, so I don't see that being an issue or a question.
Kendra doesn't seem to agree.
Yeah, I'll need to reach out to Bear Insurance on that, because I run our insurance policy. Crystal never ran an insurance policy, HR always did.
The one thing that I do know, because this came up recently on an unrelated subject with the utility, is that the city's insurer does not insure drivers. The city's insurer insures our vehicles, and so that anyone driving them is covered under the city's insurance.
So it'd just be addition of 2 vehicles. So how much does it cost to insure 1 squad car currently?
That number, but that's not a bill we see.
Okay.
It's something covered by the city. It's nothing that I budget for or have a line item for. When we add a car or swap a car, we just call the insurer or over here and say, here's a VIN number, this is what we're doing, and it goes on.
How many current squads do we have that are city-owned, not LISO or LISO?
Well, they're all owned by the city.
Well, that weren't bought with LISO funds.
Well, we have 3 LISO cars, so we have 6.
6 total.
Excluding the lease, because we bought 3, so right now we're sitting at 9 total cars.
And then you said 1 officer, possibly 2 meet the requirement for a take-home squad?
Right now, 1 officer meets it.
1. And then 2 lieutenants.
Correct.
What is, Because at some point, we have to assume, I don't like using the word assume, but at some point when the program ends, or if it does end, do we have an estimated cost, what it's going to cost to the tax dollar if LISO disappears? Or we sell Countryside and there's no storage for the vehicles that we have to hold for a year? Do we have a plan for that?
Well, the plan is, as Lieutenant Ward presented last year, was that the LISO funds, we're going to get this program up and running, and then if we continue with the one car per year program through the CIP, that, I mean, we will certainly continue to help or maybe buy cars or buy equipment if the program continues, but once this is up and running on its own, if the LISO program ended, there would really be no additional cost for buying squads because we would cycle them out as planned.
So essentially, if I followed you correctly, the LISO only needs to buy one more vehicle to be fully equipped at 10, and then the city will take over on a yearly 1-to-1 rollout of a new squad buy-in.
Correct, yeah, there's a squad per year, I think, in the next 5 or 6 years planned in the CIP. And that was going to, we're going to be rotating cars out. We'll be putting less miles on the cars because they're assigned 1-to-1. So there potentially could even be a year that we don't need a squad.
And then I didn't see it in this policy unless I overlooked it. What is, and I'll use the one officer, or your 2 lieutenants and your 1 officer. What is the policy going to be when they check on duty? So we get a full coverage of their 8-hour shift or whatever they're scheduled for. So if are they going to have to come into the city limits and check on?
They're not on duty until they're in the city limits.
Okay, so how do we cover them in the line of transportation from their house to the city limits if they're not on duty? Because it's going to become a workers' comp issue. If something happens from point A, their house, to the city limit, we got to make sure there's coverage on a workers' comp because they need to be covered.
But they're not on duty.
Okay, so then they're coming to work or going home and something happens, whose insurance is going to cover it?
Well, depending on what the circumstances are, it would either be the city's or if it was another vehicle, the other. I mean, that's.
But I'm saying like for the, if, I think there's a workers' comp issue. If something were to happen.
If you're saying they have the ability to, if they see an emergency on their way home and they have the authority to stop and they see it on the clock and say something happened, that'd be a workman's comp claim. I don't know the legalities behind a city-owned vehicle driving home fully, if that'd be a work comp claim if they happen to get in an accident. If they're not on duty, but if you're giving them the ability to be on duty while they're driving home for an emergency, then that would be considered work comp, because they're technically still on duty if they're supposed to be eyes and ears on the road.
Well, if they came across a true emergency while going to or from work, they would be on duty. They would go on the
Yes.
clock.
But are they
And-
always considered on duty then, if they're looking for emergencies? Oh. Then I wasn't expert.
We're not actively looking for true emergencies. That's not a good thing.
Do I have to repeat all of that?
No.
Okay. I'm here. Work on. I have to look into all that with the League of Wisconsin Municipalities. They'll know all the answers for us for that.
I think that's all I had wrote. Oh. I think some of this stuff, in my honest opinion, should be discussed in closed session. I understand that it doesn't meet closed session material, but some of the things in here, I don't feel comfortable explaining on recorded or televised TV how things work in a squad car for the protection of our officers and the other people, the community members. I guess I can leave it at that. I can have a one-on-one with Dennis after the meeting to get some clarification, but
Yeah, I would say just talk with Dennis about that. I don't think it's really something, I'm trying to think if it would, and maybe you can answer this question, if it would be something that would even be council's, decision that would come out of that conversation, but it might be
Well, I
just a
think it-
conversation for you to have with Dennis, just for, questions you have.
well, I think it would be our decision because it is city-owned equipment, so.
But
And
we
it
don't-
talks about storage of city-owned equipment.
Oh, and I didn't answer your other question, I'm sorry, part of that question about what if we sell Countryside? Looking year or two down the road at a new building and building it out for 40 years, there's gonna be plenty of parking.
Yeah, and we'll have, if Lisa only needs to buy one more car, I think your funds are probably sufficient enough to purchase that vehicle and outfit it, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
And again, our plan also with the LISO funds, aside from the vehicles, is that we plan to keep doing it when we can. There's been kind of a dry up of it. August and September, they go through their audit process where there's like radio silence. And then, of course, the government shutdown. That's part of the federal government and the LISO program. So wheels are starting to turn slowly again. But our plan is to continue the program and buy equipment and buy things that benefit the department as a whole. When we have the LISO program up and running, to benefit the department and save me from budgeting for this or budgeting for that, because there can be an added plus to the LISO monies outside of the squads. And we want to provide that.
I think Alder Lawson was next. Or is it Alder Reed? Oh, who was next? Alder Lawson?
Alder Reed can go.
Oh, thank you, kind sir. Just for quick clarifications, are we super close to our goal of having our 9 out of 10 vehicles? Are the 9 vehicles we currently have serviceable for the program? Just wondering out of curiosity how close we are. And then the other question, I don't think our plan is to end LISO once we have the 10th vehicle. It's just that we would be prepared as a city to cover the new vehicles after that, just in case.
I mean, we're certainly willing to supplement. I mean, we've been very lucky in the year and a half we've been in it. I mean, very lucky with what we've been able to recover financially, and we still have some assets that ready to be sold, and one of them is fairly substantial. We currently have 8 staff and we have 9 squads. So we would be in a position tomorrow to do the 1-to-1 non-take-home squad for the officers if we wanted to. That's not my plan. We've got some more equipment to buy in the coming months to get every vehicle up to the same level. That equipment will be purchased with LISO funds. But with the 2 vehicles that are going to be assigned to each of the lieutenants, those, the one is already ready. It's been in the fleet for a year and a half. And the other one just got set up and will probably be ready relatively soon.
Excellent, thank you.
Alder Lawson.
So the vehicles that you were able to purchase, are they both interceptors?
Yeah, they're all Fords.
Okay.
Correct.
So the plan is, at least for the majority of folks, to have Fords going forward. That way you have the consistency like you talked about.
Yeah, my plan is to keep with Fords because we can swap out a lot of equipment as we flip vehicles. Sometimes when they do a redesign of the body internally, like for a prisoner partition, instead of buying an adapter kit, buying a whole new cage is only sometimes a couple $100 more. It's kind of a racket sometimes, but they only redesign the bodies usually every couple of years. But our plan is to stick with Fords. The Chevy Tahoes are $12,000, $13,000 more expensive, and I have one. We got that as a fluke, and we got it at a very, very good, similar to a Ford price. But I don't foresee any more Tahoes in our fleet just because of smaller city handling, bigger, boxier, a little different, and we have had horrible luck with our Dodge Durango. 10,000 miles. It's on its second transmission and its third water pump.
Yikes.
So my plan is to stick with Ford, and I can justify that.
Good choice.
And then it sounded like there was maybe a change of policy. You said when we originally received some of the items, we were able to dispose of them after 12 months. What's the new policy requirement?
The policy right now through the LISO program, the LISO program is a federal program, and then there's a person in a state office, Department of Military Affairs or something, which is like Lieutenant Ward's direct contact point. After some paperwork is done with something you obtain, like from this point forward, this changed like within the last week or 2 weeks. From this point forward, something you obtain, you can dispose of it. You don't have that year waiting period.
Oh, so we could actually,
If it's not something we're gonna put to
Dispose of
use
it
for the city,
faster.
like, we use the
Yeah.
UTV, we got an enclosed trailer a couple of months ago that we're probably gonna keep and use. If it's not something we're gonna use,
Probably not
we can
keeping the
dispose of
Humvee.
it quick
yeah, okay,
and free up some room at the old countryside.
thank you.
Yep.
Alder Rosted?
Yeah, it's two things. To Alder Reed's comment, I didn't mean to insinuate that I wanted to end the lease, so I was questioning if the federal government ended the program. They did, not us. And then, secondly, just some grammar. Looking at the budget that's already been adopted, we don't have an administrative lieutenant and a patrol lieutenant. We just have 2 lieutenants. So is that something that was added in here, or is
They're both lieutenants, and that is how I use them.
okay? So do we want to?
Lieutenant Rozecki is a patrol lieutenant. He works patrol. He's the lieutenant over the officers. Lieutenant Ward is the administrative lieutenant who does all the fleet, the body cam stuff, our squad CAD system. He has probably 90% administrative responsibilities.
So does it match their job description?
When their
That's what
job
I'm-
description were rewritten several years ago, they were written, everything that either of them do is encompassed in that job description. I just choose to title them differently.
Okay,
I was going to say, they're both lieutenants.
It's all about how I use them. The
Yeah.
job descriptions are the same.
okay.
Yeah.
I
They're
just didn't
just
know
referred
what,
to
the way
as-
it was worded in the policy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
They're
just their
just-
working title.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, anything else, or are we good moving this forward? And nods. Lawson? Rostad, I know you have more questions, but good moving it forward. Okay,
Thank you.
awesome. Next, discussion of 2026 budget for Eastern Columbia County Joint Municipal Court. Is this something we're tossing over to Joe? Or Mayor, sorry?
So Columbus is part of the Eastern Columbia County Municipal Court Program. So every year they have to come together with a budget like everybody. The council has to approve this budget, but there is no money put into this budget by the city of Columbus through tax dollars or such. This is, if you look at where the income is, the bulk of it is through citations. So this particular budget, the income is less than what the expenses are, partially because of adding an assistant into the budget. There is additional money in the court's coffers that can cover the overage. So for this particular year, this is how the budget is, so.
Any
Try
questions?
to answer questions the best that I can. so.
Anticipate the questions.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions? Good moving this forward? Yeah? I'm seeing nobody saying no, so, oh, sorry, Alder Lawson. No, you're a no?
I'm good.
Oh, then why is your light on?
He's waiting.
Oh,
All right, looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Yeah, first by Alder Lawson, and a second by Alder Rosted. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.
Okay. So,
funny.
does anybody need to take a break before we move into the next meeting? Nope?
Let's do
Okay.
this.
Then welcome everybody to tonight's regular council meeting of the Columbus Common Council, and welcome to those that are watching via cable channel. And I would look for a roll call, please.
Finkler.
Here.
Hammer.
Here.
Lawson.
Here.
Meyer is excused. Reed.
Here.
Relke.
Here.
Rostad.
Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I acknowledge this meeting was posted and noticed according to law.
All right, thank you very much. I would look for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So move.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Rosted, second by Alder Finkler to approve the agenda. Any discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, public comment, is there anybody?
There is not.
Okay, thank you. You will find in your packet committee minutes for file, library of October 21st of 25, PFC of October 18th and October 27th of 2025, and recreation of October 13th of 2025. Next would be to approve tonight's consent agenda, which is the committee of the whole and the common council minutes of November 18th of 2025, and the mayoral appointment of Henry Elling to the CDA.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Alder Lawson, second by Alder Rolke. Any discussion? Alder Russet?
Just clarification for Henry, nothing he does with the HLPC ties to CDA, correct? It would be like, planning commission would be a conflict of interest more than CDA.
I guess, I mean, I don't think it would be, but
If there ever is, he'd just have to
recuse
recuse himself.
himself, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, knowing Henry, yeah, so. All right, good question. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Next, we will go under ordinances, and that is to consider and take action on ordinance 811-25, an ordinance to amend the zoning map of the City Code of Ordinances relating to 546 Manning Street. This was brought up at the Plan Commission on November 13th with the recommendation to go forward with this. So first, I would look for a motion to suspend the rules.
Move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Finkler, second by Alder Lawson to suspend the rules. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yep. And next, I would look for a motion to waive the readings.
So move to waive the readings.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Rosted, second by Alder Finkler. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then next would be to approve ordinance 811-25.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 811-25.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Rosted, second by Alder Finkler. Any further discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Then next on to new business, which is to consider and take action on Resolution 14-25, final resolution authorizing the public improvements and levying special assessments for 2025 street improvement project on Brookside Lane. We discussed this at the last meeting in November on approving the limits, and this is to approve the resolution.
Make a motion to approve resolution 14-25.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Alder Rosted, second by Alder Rolke. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, resolution passed. Next is to consider and take action on the certified survey map for 546 Manning Street. This again was approved or recommended by Plan Commission at the November 13th to move forward.
I move to approve the certified survey map for 546 Manning Street.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Alder Lawson, second by Alder Rosted. Any discussion on this?
Yes. I would just like to point out that for obvious reasons, I will be abstaining from voting on this item.
Yeah, and she also
And I
didn't
also
vote
didn't
on the
vote
previous
before.
ones. Yeah.
I probably should have asked, and I apologize
Yes.
for not doing so. Okay, any other discussion on this? All right, then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Then, next is to consider and take action on the City of Columbus Snow and Ice Emergency Control Program with item number 15 regarding hydrants being put on hold until further work can be done on that. How should I word that?
I can word it.
I thought that,
We're leaving it as is.
oh, you're
Yeah,
gonna
we're
leave
just
it
leaving
as
as
is?
is. We're going to talk about an ordinance, which is separate. I think the only thing we want to change is the date for CDL.
Okay. So, we would look for a motion to approve. Sorry about that.
I'll make a motion to approve the City of Columbus Snow and Ice Emergency Control Policy with the change of verifying CDLs are valid from November to September.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Lawson, second by Alder Finkler. Any further discussion on this? Okay, thank you. Then all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Let's see. Then next is to consider and take action on the Columbus Police Department assigned take-home squad program policy, which was presented tonight.
I'll move to approve the Columbus Police Department assigned take-home squad program policy.
I'll
Second.
It's close, but motion by Alder Finkler, second by Alder Reed. Any further discussion on this? Alder Rosted?
Do we want to add into the motion as discussed, like what Dennis discussed about how he's going to roll it out? Or does that not matter? Yeah. So I would ask that we amend it to add in that the 2 lieutenants will go live ASAP officers within a year. Correct, Dennis?
Okay. I will amend my motion to approve the Columbus Police Department assigned take-home squad program policy with lieutenants going first for a year before the other officers.
And I will update my seconds.
Okay. So motion by Alder Finkler, second by Alder Reed. Any further discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Then next would be to consider and take action to ratify the 2026 budget of the Eastern Columbia County Joint Municipal Court.
I move to approve and ratify the 2026 budget for the Eastern Columbia County Joint Municipal Court.
A second.
Okay, motion by Alder Rolke, second by Alder Lawson. Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then, next is to consider and take action on the claims in the amount of $171,580.06.
I move to pay the claims in the amount of $171,580.06.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Lawson, second by Alder Finkler. Any further discussion on this? Roll call?
Lawson.
Aye.
Relke.
Aye.
Finkler.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Rostad.
Aye.
Okay. So with the penny going away, should that have been rounded up? Okay. So, report of city officers.
I have nothing to report.
Okay. I would just like to say thanks to the DPW crews with snow plowing and removal of the snow this past storm. And then also to remind residents, and neighbors can help out with this, but residents, if you have a fire hydrant in front of your place, to please keep it clear of snow. That could be your own house that you're saving. And with that, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Finkler, second by Alder Rosted. Any discussion on adjourning? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Then before we go into the workshop, does anybody need to take a break?